The Truth Girls. Truth Girls.
Hi everyone, Truth Girl Sonia here. There's a lot of talk about Trump getting impeached. Not that this is anything new, but it's come up again. Is there any reason to think this might actually happen, or is this just a liberal fantasy? Donald Trump told to get ready for impeachment by senior Democrat Maxine Waters. So it says here, she told him to get ready for impeachment and that she has been pressing Congress to quickly impeach Mr. Trump if evidence arises of his alleged collusion with the Russian government during the election race. If the facts are there, then we should move quickly to do something about it. Right. If. That's a very big if. Hey, Maxine Waters isn't the only one. Donald Trump will resign soon, says top Democrat Dianne Feinstein. Maybe he won't get impeached. Maybe he'll just resign. I don't think so. It's all a part of my liberal fantasy. Senior senator on Judiciary Committee drops hint she knows more than she can say right now. Really? What does she know? Hinting she might know more than she's able to let on, Ms. Feinstein replied, "We have a lot of people looking into this. I think he's going to get himself out." That's it? She declined to say whether she thought the president had done anything that was worthy of impeachment. "I can't answer that right now," she said. You would think that if he really had, and they really had some solid evidence, that considering how much she wants him out, she would say it. So, what could they possibly have on Donald Trump that could get him impeached? There are three things that they're floating around. Number one, the whole Russian hacking issue. Number two, some issues surrounding his finances, which I'm going to get into. And three, some issues related to his tweets about the wiretapping. Okay, so let's just start with the Russian hacking. I'm sure you've heard this so many times, this subject come up, but let's just recap where they're at right now. I mean, do they really have anything, any evidence? They keep bringing it up, but they don't seem to really be moving on it. So, I mean, what could they really have? U.S. intelligence report identifies Russians who gave DNC emails to WikiLeaks. Now, let me point out, this is printed on January 7th. We are now March 24th. It's like 3 months later. So if they identified who gave them to WikiLeaks way back then, why hasn't anything been done about that? See, that's why I have a hard time believing they have anything solid to go on. And if you read this article, you'll see that their evidence contains inferential evidence, meaning that it's not direct proof of anything, but they can just sort of infer what it really means. Okay, but then there's this. Julian Assange says he is 1,000% confident that Russia was not the source for hacked Democratic emails which were published by WikiLeaks. It is claimed the Clinton campaign emails came from inside leaks, not Russian hackers. And how do they know this? Well, because of this ex-British ambassador who is now a WikiLeaks operative who claims Russia did not provide Clinton emails. They were handed over to him at a DC park by an intermediary for disgusted Democratic whistleblowers. Julian Assange himself, though, said they could have been delivered by a third party. So it wasn't handed over to him by the Russians, but he can't know 100% where it came from, although the ambassador says it came from inside the DNC, which, you know, it throws a whole other twist into the story, because look at this. WikiLeaks files show the CIA repurposing hacking code to save time, not to frame Russia. See, there's always been the possibility that Russia was being framed by people from inside the U.S. government. See, WikiLeaks published a large cache of CIA documents that it said showed the agency had equipped itself to run its own false flag hacking operations. The documents describe an internal CIA group called Umbrage that WikiLeaks said was stealing the techniques from other nation-state hackers to trick forensic investigators into falsely attributing CIA attacks to those actors. According to WikiLeaks, among those from whom the CIA had stolen techniques is the Russian Federation, suggesting the CIA is conducting attacks to intentionally mislead investigators into attributing them to Vladimir Putin. Interesting, they mentioned they have the same technology as the Russians, because this article here from Time says that the CIA stated that one of their pieces of evidence was that there was a strong resemblance, including the use of the same computer malware the Russians have used against targets in Europe, and the marriage of traditional espionage tactics used by Soviet and Russian intelligence, such as bribery, blackmail, and internet vulnerabilities, which they said Putin has devoted increasing resources and attention to exploiting. Yeah, but they just also, it turned out that the CIA has the same technology, the same software, so they could have easily faked it. However, before you decide that the CIA did that, note that The Intercept wasn't able to find documents within the WikiLeaks cache that talks about tricking forensic investigators into attributing attacks to Russia. Instead, they discuss do's and don'ts of tradecraft, such as encryption strings, etc. So it looks like, obviously, so far they don't have any real solid evidence on the Russian hacking issue, but there's not really solid evidence that the CIA did it either. As far as I'm concerned, it's a possibility that they did do this and then try to frame Trump. You know, I just don't think that Trump would do something that dumb and thinking that he could get away with it. You know, he's a very rich man. Now he's taken office as president. He has a huge ego. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't go up there and set himself up for total embarrassment and dishonor and getting kicked out. I really don't think that he would have done anything like that. I just think he won the election, and the liberals don't like it. I'd be very, very surprised if it came out that he was actually involved with any kind of hacking. So, Maxine Waters, if there are facts, then we should move quickly to do something about it. Yeah, but I don't think you're going to get those facts. Okay, here's the third issue, that of Trump's finances and conflicts of interest. Okay, there's a petition, impeach Trump now. So, why do they want to impeach him? Given the opportunity of 10 full weeks between the election and the inauguration to divest his business interest, Mr. Trump chose instead to announce just 9 days before the inauguration a wholly inadequate plan to step away from operations, but not ownership or income streams of the Trump Organization. Instead, he has chosen to profit from the presidency at public expense in violation of the United States Constitution. Okay, how exactly is he doing that? Well, according to whoever put the petition up, he is violating something called the Emoluments Clause, which says, no person holding any office of profit or trust under the United States shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept any present emolument, office, or title of any kind whatsoever, from any king, prince, or foreign state. So, okay, so how is he doing this? Okay, they got 3 examples here. Trump's business partner in Trump Tower Century City in Manila, Philippines, is Century Properties. And the head of Century Properties is Jose Antonio, who was just named Special Envoy to the United States by the President of the Philippines. Payments from a company owned by a foreign government official are foreign emoluments. Oh, to me, that seems like a bit of a stretch. Number 2, China's state-owned Industrial and Commercial Bank of China is the largest tenant in Trump Tower and a major lender to Trump. Number 3, foreign diplomats, they're reserving hotel rooms in Trump Tower, so they're paying him. They say payments by foreign diplomats for lodging, meeting space, or food at the hotel are foreign emoluments. Well, what is he supposed to do? Kick them out? Refuse to give them a hotel room? Really? You want to impeach him because he rented someone a hotel room? I think this petition is on very shaky ground. If they screw this up, I'll tell them you're fired. Trump quits every role in his companies and hands them over to his sons. He hired a lawyer to sort this out for him, and I'm pretty sure that he spared no expense in hiring a lawyer who knew what she was doing and who did a good job to make sure that he wasn't violating the law in any way. After the announcement that he had done this, the head of the Office of Government Ethics called the move meaningless, suggesting conflicts of interest would remain. Well, to this, Trump's lawyer responded, as you know, the business empire built by President-elect Trump over the years is massive, not dissimilar to the fortunes of Nelson Rockefeller when he became vice president. Adding, but at that time, no one was so concerned. She too noted that the congressional statute defining conflicts of interests purposely excludes the President of the United States. All right, and third is the issue of what Trump said about Obama having wiretapped him. Houston Congresswoman floats impeachment over Trump wiretapping claim. Look, if you slander someone, and that's a criminal act, you know, maybe he could be impeached for that. However, to slander or defame someone, there's a particular legal definition of it. You have to spread information that is not only defamatory to their character, but is false, and that you know to be false, and that you spread with the intention of smearing them. And it has to be information that could reasonably be believed by whoever hears it. So what did Trump actually tweet? Terrible. Just found out that Obama had my wires tapped in Trump Tower just before the victory. Nothing found. This is a McCarthyism. And is it legal for a sitting president to be wiretapping a race for president prior to an election, turned down by court earlier? A new low. And look, the documents regarding the wiretapping were obtained by Mike Zillow, formerly of former Sheriff Arpaio's department. They were in a police database and they were leaked. InfoWars has a copy. So, you know, it should be pretty easy to establish whether these documents actually exist, number one. Number two, as far as I could tell when I looked on it, Trump himself was not a target of the wiretapping, but they tapped many of his buildings and many of his employees. So it kind of indirectly, it's him. I mean, it's his building. So would that be lying if he said they tapped him, but it wasn't really him, it was his building? I don't know. I don't think that's something you can impeach someone for. That it was Obama doing it? Obama may have never ordered it. But does Trump know that? Trump doesn't really know. So if he thinks it was Obama and he says that, then that's not slander either. He would have to know it wasn't Obama, accuse Obama. You know, that would be a criminal libel. But for this, I mean, you can be wrong. That's not illegal. So as it stands right now, I think that Maxine Waters and Dianne Feinstein are still indulging in a liberal fantasy that would have Trump impeached. But I really don't see any solid evidence for anything that he could actually be impeached for. And here's one more thing I'd like to point out. Now let's say for some reason Trump did get impeached, which he won't, or he left office. He just gave it up. Then what's going to happen? Well, it's not going to be, you know, power's not going to be handed over to the Democrats. It's going to be his vice president, Mike Pence, taking over. And all those people that Maxine Waters called scumbags in his cabinet, well, they're still going to be there. So if you just get Trump out, what's that really going to change? Not much, except you're going to have gotten rid of the one man in there who probably has the most brilliant talent for business and who may really totally change the American economy. See, I want to see Trump stay in. Not because I'm like some kind of fanatical Trump supporter, but I'm very curious to see what he's going to do. First of all, I don't think he's done anything wrong. And second, there was some economic recovery with Obama, but I'd like to see what Trump can do, because I just have this feeling, like maybe it's woman's intuition, but I have this feeling, this belief that he can really do something to bring prosperity back to America. I believe it. I really do. And everybody's worried all the time that he's going to cause some kind of disaster, but I really don't see that. I think he could bring prosperity, and I'd really like to see him have the chance to do that. I think people should just back off on this whole get rid of Trump, impeach Trump thing. Let him do his term. If he does anything actually wrong, I'm sure that'll be dealt with. But right now, it's looking to me like a bit of a witch hunt. You'll find out if I'm wrong. Maybe it turns out he really did get involved with the Russians to hack the election. I seriously doubt it. He wouldn't be that stupid. He wouldn't be stupid enough to not divest himself properly from his assets either. He's not a stupid guy, and I don't think anybody's going to impeach him. Well, let me know what you think. And thanks for leaving your comments. Thank you for liking and sharing my video. And thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.